Welcome back, Mando.
Oh, greetings, Bucketheads. Mavar Tagar. Welcome to our 390th Star Hunting the Starhunters episode of MandoVision. I am your host, Nargai Tom, and thank you so much for checking out this small independent Star Wars podcast. We are so glad that you're here. Make sure you're following us on those socials, Mando_Vision on X and Insta, MandoVision at Blue Sky. And hey, you can email me, MandoVisionTom@gmail.com. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, following, and sharing the show with all the Mandalorians in your covert. All right, Bucketheads, we are back for another installment of our vintage Star Wars Droids rewatch. And let me tell you, friends, this might break me. I am driving the struggle bus with this episode, and it's a doozy. It's a doozy, friends, but we're going to talk about it. And again, you know me, I'm going to temper everything I say because the caveat is that this is a show aimed at children in 1985. It was a different time. Cartoons were not grown up. They were not sophisticated. At least not in America yet. You know, we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into this one. But, however, and yet, so many other things have happened this past week. Obviously, the biggest being the D23 convention and all the announcement that came flowing out of there. You know, not everything at D23 pertained to Star Wars necessarily, but if you're into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you're probably delighted by the preview for Doomsday that came out. All kinds of things being announced there. But obviously for this show, the two big things, there was footage shown for Starfighter, and we got the first teaser trailer for Season 2 of Ahsoka. And we will talk about them to a degree. Listen, I'll just say it right now. You guys, again, if you're a long-time listener of the pod, you kind of know how I feel about leaked footage and things like that. So I have not gone hunting for the Starfighter footage. I know it's out there. You can find like plenty of crappy-looking bootlegs of it. But I'm not going to do that. I will wait until Disney wants me to see it. And I'm okay with that. I'll wait for whatever teaser or trailer or whatever they decide to put out. Or perhaps they put that little clip into circulation in answer, in sort of response to all the sort of bootlegs of it that exist out there on the internet. I don't know for sure. That's up to them how they choose to handle it. But I'm okay not having seen it yet. I'm very much in the bag for all these Star Wars things anyways, so it doesn't really matter. I'm going. I don't need to be convinced to go. I'm not just going to sit there and be like, oh gosh, I was really on the fence before, but this little clip has changed my mind. No, I'm all in. I'm always all in. So it doesn't really matter. And I don't want that to derail you. If you are interested, if you can't wait to see footage of Starfighter and to see Ryan Gosling in a Star Wars movie, and you have to find that footage, go watch the bootlegs. That's fine. I'm not trying to discourage you. It is out there. But for the sake of the podcast, I don't watch those. So, but I did watch what they wanted me to see, what they showed, what they unveiled to the whole world, which was our first look at Season 2 of Ahsoka. And things had started to come out earlier in the weekend because a lot of the displays at D23 definitely seem to be pointing towards more Clone Wars flashbacks, more stuff with Anakin, and those were all confirmed via the trailer. So, if you had been going into the weekend trying to avoid anything, you probably got that spoiled for you pretty quick. But then they dropped that trailer, and you saw it all anyways. And my reaction to the trailer is yes, is very positive. I'm here for it. Again, I'm in the bag. They didn't have to convince me to watch Ahsoka season 2. You've heard me talk about Ahsoka season 1. You know the things I'd like to see sort of addressed and changed in season 2 of Ahsoka. And I think maybe a lot of those things are addressed in season 2 of Ahsoka. And I have to be perfectly honest. We've been doing our rewatch series of all of the animated shows and pretty much everything that Dave Filoni's been involved with, including season 1 of Ahsoka. And if you could say something about Clone Wars and Rebels off the jump, it's that season 1's not the best for either one of them. It's a lot of time establishing and building and setting things up and getting to know the characters. And in classic Dave Filoni fashion, it would look like we have done that in season 1, and now in season 2, we can get to the good stuff. And I hope that is the case, because there's a lot to be excited about. In the trailer, obviously we have Clone Wars flashbacks. We get to see young Ahsoka again, her time with Anakin as his Padawan. We also get to see Force Ghost Anakin, which is very, very exciting as well. Lots of good stuff in here. Obviously, we are going to spend a lot of time with the Rebels reuniting. A great scene with Zeb. Maybe Zeb will be in the show this year, other than I think that half a second of screen time he got in the first one. But yeah, the reunion of the Rebels team, basically, obviously minus Kanan, will be a big part of what goes on in season 2 of the show. Because again, we spent so much time in season 1 following Ahsoka. We only got little bits and pieces of what was going on with Hera and the New Republic. And this show very much will be split this time around. We will be in the main Star Wars galaxy with Hera and the New Republic as they now deal with the return of Grand Admiral Thrawn and the reunification of the Empire. And that aspect of it looks really cool. Obviously, if you are familiar with the original Timothy Zahn novels, there is sort of a bit of familiarity with what they are doing, with what they have going on in the trailers. And there's all these moments. Well, I shouldn't say all these moments, but there's several moments in the trailer where you're like, if you know those books the way I know those books, you're like, oh, this is like that scene in the book where X, Y, and Z happens, except it's different because we've modified it. And what we seem to be hinting at, instead of, and again, maybe he will, but it would appear that instead of using a new clone army to refill the ranks of the Imperials, as he did in the original books, it looks as if Thrawn, as we speculated during the Ahsoka show, is using a resurrected Night Sister army to fill out the ranks of the Imperials. That is new and different, but not surprising considering the sort of deal that he seems to have bartered with those Elder Night Sisters who will be back in this season. So we have that storyline going on, as well as Ahsoka lost in another galaxy, on a different world, and trying to uncover the mysteries of that world and what exactly Baylan Skoll is up to there and what kind of power thing he's looking for. They sort of hint at it in the trailer that he's looking for something that can end all wars. We get a quick glimpse of Rory McCann stepping into the cloak of Baylan Skoll, and it all looks great. It all looks fantastic, and obviously the big, emotional moment of the trailer is sort of the voiceover of Anakin saying that, Ahsoka, these are your trials. Are you a Jedi or are you not? And again, that's something that I think we have all been sort of curious about, and something that the show in season 1 didn't really do a great job of addressing, sort of her standing of not being a Jedi. It wasn't really discussed in The Mandalorian. Very, 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 maybe a little bit in her first appearance. But then we see her and all these other things sort of being Jedi adjacent. And I guess this is a sort of, it feels like the moment in the trailer is a sort of poop or get off the pot moment for Ahsoka. You're either a Jedi or you're not. Let's do this. All right, cool. Let's do it. I'm here for the ride. I'm excited about it. Again, lots of quick flashes of stuff in that trailer that we're not going to talk about. I'm not doing a breakdown. There are plenty of other sites you can go to for that if you want to spend your time there. But it looks like we are going to get the more action-packed, more fast-paced season. Again, these are the things that I wanted to see addressed, and it looks like maybe that'll be the case. Again, more action, space combat stuff, and Forcey stuff, Jedi stuff, Jedi wizard stuff. So exciting, exciting, exciting. We are here for that. All right. I guess it's time. I've stalled long enough. We have to talk about the thing that we came to talk about. And I don't want to do it. I really don't. All right. You know what we have to do. It's time to give credit where credit is due. This is Star Wars Droids, Season 1, Episode 9, Coby and the Starhunters. Original air date, November 2nd, 1985. The plot for this one, Jan Tosh and the droids are seen to it... Oh, that's not a good description. Here we go. The droids accompany Prince Coby to join the Imperial Academy, as well as Jan, who is awaiting the results of his own application. They venture across the stars to rescue a stolen pet. It's a doozy, friends. It's a doozy. Goodness gracious. The episode is directed by Ken Stevenson, written by Peter Sauter and Joe Johnston on this one. Joe Johnston, who is Star Wars alumni, Star Wars royalty, a big part of production design for Return of the Jedi. Our primary voice cast for the episode. You know him, you love him. Anthony Daniels is C-3PO, R2-D2. We have Donnie Burns, George Buza, Graham Campbell, Milan Chalov, Jamie Dick, Kreese, Summer, Don Franks, Dan Hennessy, Tamora Johnson, Michael LaFave, Gordon Maston, Don McManus, John Stalker, and Chris Wiggins. Oh, yeah. All right, Bucketheads. We're ready. You know what that means. It's time. Strap on your buckets. Let's go.
Get out of here. We'll hold them off.
You're going to have to relocate the covert.
This is the way.
This is the way.
All right, so we aren't completely done with the characters on Tamuzan just yet. We're still there with all of the ones we have gotten to know over the past few episodes. Obviously, Jan Tosh takes a little bit more of a front and center role in this episode as he's waiting for his Imperial Academy application. But in the meantime, we're hanging around Tamuzan, and Lord Toda's son, Coby, who we met in last week's episode, is going to take center stage here. And apparently, Coby is going to the Imperial Academy. This is, again, 1985, and I suspect that we weren't too overly concerned with the idea that the Empire maybe wasn't the biggest fan of non-humans out there in the world. But so be it. Coby's going to the Imperial Academy, and Toda, Toda's stoked for it. Lord Toda is like really excited about his strong-willed boy going through the retraining program at the Imperial Academy. He's hoping this will help address his son's lack of ambition. Well, that's parenting. Sure. So the droids are going to carry all of Coby's massive amount of luggage. Why does a child need so much luggage? I don't know. But we're going to go to the academy. And we find out pretty early on that Coby is not that nice. Not only is he strong-willed, he's pretty mean. He is disrespectful and doesn't really, he treats R2 and 3PO like slaves. Not a real big fan of them. He recently has acquired some money from his great uncle, and he wants to go spend it on some war droids at the Tamuzan spaceport. And C-3PO, to his credit, is like, nah, man, you're not doing that. And he takes the money away from the boy. A bold move on C-3PO's part. I'm not gonna lie. I was sort of impressed that C-3PO showed the child, some discipline, some structure. Meanwhile, we leave Tamuzan, and we end up at Zalakesh spaceport on the planet Chizala, where we're stopping. We're getting some gas. We're getting some munchies, loading up the Cheetos. And Coby wants to explore the spaceport, but 3PO not a fan. He doesn't like spaceports. Zalakesh, he thinks it's a criminal haven. And Jan is going to go check on the connection to their next transport, so he leaves Coby with the droids. Now we see a ship, the Starhunters Intergalactic Menagerie, which is creatures from the outer galaxies. And there's this guy, Captain Stroon, and Slarm, another great name for a character. They see Coby's pet, his little Inge, and they're like, hey, man, that is a rare species, and we want it for our intergalactic menagerie. So, while Coby and the droids are looking at used spacecraft, Inge is stolen, cut from his leash, and pet-napped. And they take off aboard the Starhunters Intergalactic Menagerie. Coby wants to steal a ship, but C-3PO says, we're not stealing a ship. We're going to buy the ship. Actually, I don't even think we get that far yet, because, oh, gosh. This episode, I tell you, friends, it is a real doozy. Oh, gosh. Okay, yes. So, we are going to buy a ship because Coby has to rescue Inge. So, they're going to buy a Black Hawk destroyer. Why not? And they go chasing after the Starhunters, and they attach themselves to the Starhunter ship using, like, the magnetic landing gears. Kind of like the Falcon does in Empire Strikes Back. So a very Star Wars-esque move employed here at this point, and I wonder if that was Joe Johnston's input or not. I'm not quite sure, but it is one of the more Star Wars-y elements. Another Star Wars-y element, specifically Return of the Jedi element, is when we get to the planet that the Starhunter ship goes to. We don't know the name of this planet. It's somewhere in the Dandalo system, and they end up crashing in the jungle. And they get caught by a bunch of natives, little bird natives with little bird diapers that they wear around their nether regions. They probably don't even have the little same bird parts like we do. But I guess they have bird parts, and they got to cover them with like these little loinclothy things. And they're called Fuzzums, and they look like little Fuzzums. I mean, that name perfectly describes what they are. They're like these fuzzy balls on sticks for legs and sticks for arms, and they hold sticks in their hands, Ewok-like spears. Luckily, C-3PO is able to translate, even though they want to use C-3PO and R2 for a stew pot. Oh, I'm sorry, they want to sell C-3PO, and they want to use R2 for stew, a pot for stew. And then Coby would be said stew. So, but eventually we're going to turn these guys around. The Fuzzums are going to be our allies. And we find out that the Starhunters are basically poachers, right? Like they're doing bad things and being generally bad guys. And it gets very Return of the Jedi like here, right? And all the while we are, Coby is learning lessons about, getting along and being nice to people. There's a prisoner of the Starhunters menagerie there, this older gentleman. I believe his name is Greige. And they're going to free him from captivity. Coby gets taken prisoner, because of course he does. Everyone gets captured on the show. And that's when he meets Greige, the older gentleman. R2's able to get him out. It just goes, it all ends well. Inge is rescued. Coby's reunited. Coby's learned a valuable lesson. Jan Tosh comes to save the day. And that's basically the episode. I can't even get into it anymore. Like, yes, there is some more stuff that happens with Greej and Coby learning some humility and some niceties out there. And I guess that's important because we're teaching lessons. But I found this episode infuriating. I really did. I did not enjoy watching this. It made me unhappy. Coby is so annoying. I wish C-3PO had done more than berate him. I wish he had shown him the back of his hand, the back of his droid hand. I had wished C-3PO had a strong pimp hand for Coby. And yes, I know it sounds like I'm endorsing child abuse. I really am not. But Coby deserved one. I'm just saying. And for treating droids the way he treated droids, he definitely deserved one. I'm not going to be able to walk that back, am I? You guys are going to think I'm down with child abuse. It's not a good episode. It's obviously the weakest of the bunch. I was excited when I saw Joe Johnston's name in it. I thought it might infuse a little bit more Star Wars-y goodness into the show. And, if you wanted some similarities to our Return of the Jedi, you probably get it with the Fuzzums. But there's another storyline where C-3PO, using his language skills, has a beastly creature whose name I forget, like, fall in love with him and become, like, want to marry C-3PO. It's this giant girl dinosaur-looking creature. It's not good. It's not good. This might be the lowest rating I'm ever going to give to anything, but it's 3 buckets. It might be 2. I did not like this episode. 1 stinking iota. And like I said, we talked about it last week. I was pretty sure we were going to be following Coby around because his name was on the title of the next episode. I thought we were done with Jan Tosh. I thought we were moving on. And I guess we'll have to see what's in store for next week when we get to episode 10. But we're almost done, friends. And I feel like I have elected to punish myself. I don't know why I've done this to myself. I regret it. I really do. This has not been the fun romp through my childhood that I expected it to be. I have found the series to be, each week, each episode I watch, not as good as the one before it. And the one before it wasn't that good to begin with. So we're really getting some diminishing returns here. I have some questions about everyone's eagerness to sign up and join the Empire. We'll see how that goes. I'll be honest, too, I'm not making much progress reading the comics that were done at the same time as this series. They have not been great. They have been a bit of a hassle. But we will talk about those down the road. I will make it through there, and we'll loop in the Marvel and the Marvel series with the one that Dark Horse did in the 90s as well, and talk about those. But yeah, I'm not a fan of this one. I hope to be wowed a little bit more next week when we watch episode 10. And I know it's probably a big ask, but that's what I'm hoping for. So yeah, as far as that goes, oh boy. However, as promised, we will be doing another episode of the show later this week because I am hard at work finishing the final 4 episodes of The Ninth Jedi, and that is a show that I am enjoying much, much more. So I will have much nicer things to say, and I won't have to lock up the sharp knives, and I won't have to take my belt and my shoelaces away from myself before I watch the next episode of that show, like I do for Droids. So I'm sorry, Bucketheads. I'm usually much more up on these things than I am right now. I'm feeling very low. That episode affected me very deeply. It punched me in my soul. And I'm reeling from it. I am. But we're going to rally. The Ninth Jedi I hope will be the elixir to cure my ails. And we'll see. Or else I'll just drink some ales to cure my ills. We'll see how it goes. All right, Bucketheads. I got to get out of here because I need to cleanse the palate emotionally, spiritually of this episode of Droids. So I'm going to go do that right now. I want you to go out there. I want you to be great Star Wars fans, kind, supportive, respectful, understanding, patient, tolerant, even of this show, even of Droids. If you're on this journey with me, I hope you're having more fun than I am. We should commiserate about it together. Hit me up on the socials, Mando_Vision on X and Insta, MandoVision at Blue Sky, and of course you can email me all your thoughts on this episode of Droids at mandovisiontom@gmail.com. Again, another reminder, please like, subscribe, follow, and share this show with all the Mandalorians in your covert. And thank you so much for doing so. And if you can, sweet 5-star reviews. So insanely helpful. I think that's it. We'll be back later this week to talk about The Ninth Jedi. Otherwise, this is the MandoVision podcast, and I am your host, Nargai Tom. We'll be back very, very soon, and hopefully have healed our spirits with The Ninth Jedi. All right, Bucketheads, remember this podcast can only end one way. This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
I would like to see the baby.